Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's Racing Channel. We are here with the Ultimate Racing League, ladies and gentlemen. Round 7 of the Academy, the Croc Cup. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the juniors and the newbies all get together and hash out over 2 races per round, 25 minutes with racing soft tyres. They have been absolutely cracking races so far this season, and we have had an absolute bang for our buck here at the Thingamajig Racing Channel. Set yourselves though, we're at Brands Hatch for round 7, and this is going to be tidy. This is going to be they've not shied away to say these are kind of, I don't want to call them beginners, because obviously over the season we've seen them do some absolutely cracking races. These are just they're new to sim racing, league racing, should we say. They've played the games, they know what they're doing. It's just this is the first time in a multi-room setting, should we say. They're just dipping their toes in. They may have done daily races, but they're not the same. It's not the same as league racing. It's a different beast altogether. And these guys are just getting into the groove of what is online league sim racing. And they've represented themselves absolutely astoundingly, from the juniors to the starters. The fresh starters, we have seen impeccable racing throughout the field, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an absolute joy to cover. So, without further delay, I could do the table, but I always think, well, what's the point of reading out the table when there is no visual aid? So maybe if I go down the grid and we'll just talk about the table as well as their positions, that might work. We'll see. We'll see. So, they qualified, ladies and gentlemen, for Brands Hatch. They are sat on the grid, waiting to go. And just all we need now is for me to get it out of the way and tell you whom is where and when. Right, on pole position then, ladies and gentlemen, we have Blackstar. Blackstar currently 4th in the championship on 156 points. He wasn't here at the beginning of the season. He joined later, and my Lord, he has made an impression since starting. He has absolutely landed on all 4 wheels and hit the ground at 6th gear. Brilliant stuff from Blackstar so far. I can see he's going to be soon mixing it up with the speedy fellows that race regularly in the league. So Blackstar 4th in the table, 156 points, sitting on pole position, which we have seen. I think the last few rounds, Blackstar has sat on that pole position. Returning for round 7, ladies and gentlemen, it's Fazzy. We don't see him every week. He's not here week in, week out. And it's 8th in the championship on 81 points. But like I said, doesn't partake as regular as I'm sure he would like. Yes, so we're seeing Fazzy 2nd on the grid. Great driving, great speed around the hatch of Brands, it has to be said. In 3rd place, I think they only started last week, wasn't it? It's Max Desi. Hang on, let me get this one. Max Desimeridas. Oh, he's in the mellow yellow from Days of Thunder. I likey. Big likes on that one. So Max, yeah, I think he only joined last round, so he's 13th in the championship table on 24 points, but qualifying up here in 3rd place on the grid puts him in great stead for a solid race ahead, ladies and gentlemen. In 4th, we have our boy Frank. Well, it says this says it's Frank, but Frank's usually in a green car, is he not? But Frank then has gone to red. It's gone from green to red. He's trying to catch me out, isn't he, the cheeky little fella? So Frank, he twitches. Check it out. I don't know how. Ask in the comments, he might reply. But he twitches. If you're on his channel, I couldn't tell you. He does put it into the message board, but you know, to read it out, it would be ridiculous. But yeah, Frank twitches his races. He's 4th on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Currently 7th in the championship on 87 points. 7th in the championship. In 5th place, I believe they're a URL regular, an Ultimate Racing League regular, but he's dipping his toe down here with the juniors and the freshers. It's Rufus, ladies and gentlemen. Rufus putting it fifth on the grid and not yet scored a point in this championship. His first dip into our Monday night racing here at the URL. Well, welcome, Rufus. Thank you for joining us. In sixth place, ladies and gentlemen, is Tidders. And Tidders, that is some livery there, sir. Very nice. I think Tidders we usually see in the Gulf livery, I thought. I may be wrong, but he's representing the URL today. And Tidders currently 11th in the championship, 68 points. 11th in the championship on 68 points. So a lot of low people in the championship are starting high up on the grid. This is quite mixed. This is going to be hard work for that top three. We've got fourth on pole in the championship, Black Star, and then in between we've had an 8th, a 13th, a 7th, and 11th. And that's a lot of cars in between the top echelons of the championship and where Black Star is aiming to go. So that's Tidders, 6th on the grid. 7th, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Wexy, the big mean Wexy. 7th on the grid is Ginger. Ginger 3rd currently in the championship on 163 points, which is exactly the same amount of points that second place has got. So they're both joint second, really, on 163 points. But Ginger has qualified 7th here at Brands Hatch for round 7. And that is a huge loss of points to Black Star, who's 4th in the championship on 156 points. And if I do my math right, that's only 7 points behind. And Black Star could take over 3rd and 2nd here, because we still haven't seen second place in the championship yet. So Ginger then, he's starting in 7th place. In 8th, ladies and gentlemen, it's the championship leader. It's Carlsberg, the Berg of Carls. In the Ness Quick Porsche is down in 8th place, 1st in the championship on 176 points, 20 points ahead of Black Star, who is sitting in pole position. So it is absolutely championship on. The Throb is in the chat saying, good afternoon, sir. Well, hello, Rob, how are you? And so, yes, Carlsberg. This is a big job for Carlsberg. We usually see, though, his qualifying isn't always up there. He doesn't seem to be at the top in the qualifying sessions. But come the race, he's consistent, he's steady, and he gets those positions as the race goes on. So I am sure Carlsberg is still aiming for a podium finish here, even though starting 8th on the grid. In 9th, it's joint 2nd in the championship. It's the Saint, ladies and gentlemen. So for those leading the championship, this has not been a great qualifying session. It has to be said, but it makes it more exciting for us because they're going to have to try harder mid-race. So 9th on the grid is the Saint. He's 2nd, joint with Ginger on 163 points. 7th, 8th, and 9th, ladies and gentlemen, the top 3 in the championship table. This is going to be spicy. I think it's going to be a little spicy hot. In 10th place, ladies and gentlemen, we have Bubblegum. Bubblegum. An absolute solid season so far from the Angry Panda driver. And Bubblegum 5th in the championship on 109 points. He's locked in with a tight battle with Waitsy at the moment, who's 6th in the championship on 106 points. So Waitsy and the Bubblegum duking it out on track to see who can have that 5th place in the championship. 11th on the grid is Waitsy. Oh no, has that not loaded in? Or did he not have a livery last time as well? But Waitsy is no, he did. We did. We'll quit out and quit back in. Come back in a minute. Waitsy 11th, 6th in the championship, 106 points, 3 points behind Bubblegum. and starting behind the bubblegum. He'll be wanting to try and hustle a little bit there and get himself by that angry panda. In 12th place, we have Steel, who's 12th also in the championship on 41 points with their fresh new livery from last round. It's the Fortnite livery, and I am here for it, ladies and gentlemen. It is something. So all's good there for the Steel. And then in 13th, where we don't usually see him, that's a nice looking livery though, isn't it? Just my word, is Krell. Krell down in 13th. Krell we usually see up at the tighter end of the pack. The pointier end is starting from very last, so it'll be interesting to see how his progress goes amongst the racing. Not attending to in this round is Ninja, who's 10th in the championship on 79 points, Hawkeye, who's 14th and 19 points in the championship, and JC 15th, 9 points in the championship. Right, I'll quit out of this. We'll see if we can get Waitsy's livery loaded up, and hopefully. Do you know what? I might go all in and go and do the cookies thing. Why not? Let's go on a little trip. I should have done it before we started. It was wrong of me. But it's good. It's good for us all to do this together. We all know this pain. Let's go and delete the cookies. Bye-bye, cookies. Cheerio. I haven't bought that yet. If I am going to buy it, I'm not sure yet. I'm still not undecided. I'm not against it. I haven't finished all the menus. I feel like I need to finish everything else in the actual game before I go and buy the DLC to do even more races. So, but yeah, at first I was a little turned off by the DLC, just 15 new races with Sophie, but I'm back on board again. I'm not against it. At least it's in VR. There's not many racing games get released on VR. It seems like it's just our boy GT7 here. Right then, let's see if that's helped any. If it hasn't, then we'll give up. What's that? Waitsy. No, it's saying Waitsy's in just a standard livery. So don't know what happened to Waitsy's. He used to have a livery. Who knows? Anyway, too much time has been delayed and no racing. You guys who just tune in casually must think, what is this dribble? I've got to cut it. I've got to get it tighter. I've got to get to the races quicker. I apologise. Right. Rob in the chat saying the power pack is good fun. Yeah, no, I've seen a few videos. It looks exciting. I like some of the cars they use. It's just I feel like I need to finish the actual game before I've got about 5 menus left. I gave up on the menus and now I feel like I've got to finish them. Right, it's race on here and Black Star leads them away with Fazzy setting chase. We got Max in 3rd place. Now these guys are not a threat to our championship contenders at the moment. Rufus's first race with this academy, and Tidders there in 6th place, looking absolutely prominent in the purples. We're into Druids and it's very tight for Black Star there. Fazzy is climbing all over his boots on and trying to get in. Oh, a little dust kicked up by Black Star as he absolutely pelts it out of the corner, and Fazzy does lose a little bit of a half car's length on the Black Star, but he's back coming out of that hairpin very tight, very strong up and against the Black Star. What can he do? He's staying defensive. His Black Star staying over tight to the right, and Fazzy moving out to the left, and these corners very brave if you want to make moves in here. Max still in 3rd. We've got Frank in 4th. There's movement. My word, Black Star and Fazzy. That was in a blink of an eye. It took nothing. And Black Star just not as confident through the sweeping right-handers as Fazzy. Fazzy just totally committed to that. But Black Star does look like he's coming back at the Fazzy now. Max, Frank and Tidders all close in together. Carlsberg coming up from 8th to 6th, I think, ahead of Bubblegum. And Saint dropping behind Bubblegum. Krell has had an absolutely stunning start up to 9th place. Waitsy in 10th. We got Rufus. Oh, Rufus has had an off somewhere. He must have done to be down in 11th. And Ginger as well has had an issue with Steel in 13th. Fazzy leads against Black Star. Black Star chasing him down. Max is in the fight, and look at Tidders and Frank going for it. Tidders trying to get himself ahead of the Frank, but Frank says no. Frank closes that door, he slams it shut and says, "Thou shalt not pass, sir." And again, Tidders back into the thick of the action, trying to find a way past as the rear derriere of the Porsche slides out of his control, but he scoops it back in as Fazzy still leads only just by Blackstar, and then we have Max third, Frank in fourth, and we're on board with Tidders in fifth, chasing down the Frank. Carlsberg a little way behind us, but he's broken away from Bubblegum, which is giving him Frank's gone wide, Frank's gone wide, Frank's gone off. OMG, Frank's lost the Porsche, and that gives the position to Carlsberg. He comes through up into fifth. Frank tries to readdress himself and get himself going again, and OMG, Bubblegum, Krell and the Saint all through, and Frank then dusts himself off, and there goes Watesy, another position for Watesy. He must be absolutely made up, and that is how easy it is to drop the Porsche here at Brands Hatch, as we must have, Ginger must have done. Steele and Rufus again may have lost the car because Steele's ahead of him. Blackstar then leads again from Fazzy. Apologies, I've missed a change in the lead, and Blackstar ahead of Fazzy, and Fazzy under pressure from Max Decimeridus. And Carlsberg's just there, but Tidders has just whipped one up at Max. Max must have made a mistake and had to get on the brakes through those last sections of corners, and Tidders just whipped one there, and now Tidders up and into third, having an investigatory look at the Fazzy. As Blackstar tries to bolt, he's disappearing, he's dipping, he's absolutely leaving the field behind. We've seen him do this many a time. If he's not harassed and harangued, he can just absolutely drive off into the distance. It's a fight. You've got to keep him under pressure if you want to keep him in the race. Tidders and Fazzy going side by side. Tidders is absolutely laying down the law around the outside, and Tidders plants one on there and gets second. Max goes up the inside of Fazzy, and Fazzy not enjoying the sweeps. Wasey saying, "Don't know why it's not loaded." Vodka Rob saying, "You get a few cars in there as well, 5 or 6. It is, I think, that you win along the way." He's talking about the DLC. Vodka Rob saying, "Loving the Marmite livery. I hate Marmite though." And Wasey saying, "This track is when my brake pedal broke. Ended up having to retire early. Good excuse to go. Fanatec though. Good on you, bro." So Blacktech then. Blacktech? Blackstar, not Fantech and Blacktech. Blackstar. So Blackstar, he's running away with it. Tidders, though, does have a bit of pace. Might be able to catch him up. Max in third. Fazzy slipping down into fourth, unfortunate. And Carlsberg, again, looking very... qualifying, it obviously is not his forte. But when it comes to race time, the man is a machine, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely laying into the pack and getting himself up to fifth from eighth, and still maybe a podium on. But Blackstar's picking up those big points against the championship leader there. Bubblegum in sixth. That's a great position against his fight with Watesy. And it looks like Frank's losing the rear derriere. He does like to drift his cars, and Frank, though, it's not the fastest way around the track, unfortunately, my friend. Krell up to seventh, starting from the very back, has done an absolutely cracking job. I know there's probably been some incidences along the way that's helped him up through the ranks, but still, job done well. Pat on the back. Frank in eighth. He's got himself past the Saint, and the Saint not looking as lively as we've seen him in the past, but he's looking lively now as he goes up against the Frank. But still, nothing doing there. We've got Ginger. Ginger's been a naughty boy as he tries to close back in. Now, Ginger, we usually see his action start later in the race. He's a bit of a slow burner. It takes him a while to warm up. But when he does warm up, he is an absolute weapon, a threat, a danger. Watesy in 11th. For now, it's not gone well, but we have heard that he had brake issues. Braking problems here, and had to retire. So Watesy's just trying to sort something out at the moment, but we know the inevitability of his dilemma. Steele in 12th with Rufus struggling at the moment in the Porsche. It is his first race. He's just dropped in, and now we see he's starting to get the feel for the car as we go along. Blackstar Not a huge amount of distance between himself and Tidders. Tidders coming in strong. Vodka Rob saying, I love my Fanatec stuff. It's like a drug though once you start. I know. Although I didn't buy my power pack thing to make it 8 NM from Fanatec, I went AliExpress. I went cheap. It's fine though, it does the job. And after Christmas I'm going to treat myself to some of those brake pedal pneumatic things. I just can't work out because they show you a picture of 2 and say it's 30 quid on AliExpress. But I'm not 100% sure you get 2, or if you just get 1 and you have to buy 2 of them for 2 pedals. So I'm still trying to work that one out. It sounds like a Reddit thing to me. An hour on Reddit reading below. Black Star then leads the way with Tidders in second. Max is in third. Max keeping Tidders very honest indeed. Tidders is the fastest man on the track at the moment, but Max not far off at all. Then Fazzy and Carlsberg looking threatening to the Fazzy. And Fazzy, unbelievable pace out there, but he's losing a lot in the Hawthorne, and I can't remember all the names of them, but Hawthorne's one of them. The 3 fast sweeping right corners. And Carlsberg then just looking for an opportunity here. On board with the championship leader, running in 5th place at the moment. And we're on lap 6, which is 8.5 minutes into a 25-minute race. There's still plenty of racing to go. Lots of mistakes still to be made. This is Brands Hatch, by the way. That does happen a lot. Hit a curb wrong, take one of these corners wrong, as you saw Fazzy nearly did. And Fazzy, he's not losing, he's not giving up as much time through these sweeps as he was. Oh, he's getting a beautiful line through there. Heavy on the brakes down here. Usually, what, 3rd gear? Maybe 2nd. And then a short run along here until we get to the final corner. This one, you're waiting forever to get onto the accelerator, and Carlsberg has never been closer to Fazzy before as they run towards Paddock Hill Bend. Then he's gone for the outside, and Fazzy defending the apex. They've come together on the apex. That's the problem when you try and defend that apex. There's not much braking you can do, and Carlsberg's lifted off to let Fazzy back again, but Fazzy has deep braked it into Druids. And the race goes on between the two of them. But yeah, this is the problem with Paddock Hill. So when you decide your line, you got to stick to it. There's no getting out of it. And Carlsberg there went for that wide line in to take the apex, but Fazzy had decided to park it on the apex from a tight line, and the two collided. But Carlsberg lifted to let the Fazzy through again. And with this racing, it's let the top 3 break away. So Black Star doing his fastest lap last time around, but it's still not as faster than Tidders' fastest. And Tidders currently is faster than Black Star. This is a tight battle here with 15 minutes still to race. The lead is not done and dusted, with Max ready to pick up the pieces if these two have a big falling out in front of him. Fazzy 4th, but Carlsberg is looking menacing at the Fazmeister. So Carlsberg could be in for a shout of 4th here. And then has he got the pace? Has he got the speed to close up to the Max? Bubblegum 6th place, but we've got Krell. We've got Krell, the 2 9-year-olds at it, ladies and gentlemen. Krell and Bubblegum, but it looks like Krell's just got his nose ahead there from the slipstream. Beautiful action from the Krell, remember, starting from the very back of the grid, and Krell is a little bit special, ladies and gentlemen, behind the wheel. He really is. For a youngster, he has the touch, but so does the gum of Bubbles. He has an absolute astounding pace and consistency, all the things you need to be a pro sim racer. The Saint coming up behind him though. He's found a bit of pace in the Porsche. Now the fuel's dropping off and the Porsche feeling a little lighter, a little more turnier in the corners. And the Saint finding some pace now as he closes in on the juniors who are going side by side. Bubblegum looking to get himself back into that 6th place. And Krell defends and says, no, sir, not today. And we're coming up to a very fast section here. How will the juniors deal with this scenario? Bubblegum is a little wide there. The Saint closing in even more. And the Krell still with his nose ahead. And Bubblegum could be in trouble from the Saint here. The Saint absolutely on their heels. Hot on the heels of these guys racing. Krell still holds that 6th place ahead of Bubblegum 7. It's 6-7. Oh no, Krell. Bubblegum having a moment. A little wide there. The Saint's closed right in. And the Saint then trying to decide, can he make the move here? He does not. Bubblegum regroups, gets himself together, and gets on with the racing, losing a bit of distance now to the Krell, who is chasing down that battle ahead of him that looks very tight. Tidders is in the lead. Sorry, I apologise. Tidders somewhere along the way has got himself ahead of Blackstar, who's picked up a huge penalty. He must have had a big off. He must have had a big off. Shall we? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. This is ages ago. Sorry, guys. It's about a lap and a half ago this happened. Here we go. Oh, no. He picked up a penalty somewhere already. Tidders is chasing and closing in. We've gone back a lap or so. Blackstar pushing to the very edge. He's lost. Now he's got to pay his penalty, which will put Tidders right on his 6. And then Blackstar goes through there, goes a little wide, loses the lead. Oh, how unfortunate. And that'll be the penalty. It would have been playing with his mind. And then he probably just late braked it in there, didn't guess his speed that well. Max fancying a piece of the Blackstar. And Blackstar says, nay, you never do. Not there, sir. So Max just settling in 3rd place. Fazzy still ahead of the Berg. And we watched the lovely battle between Krell, Bubblegum and the Saint earlier. So Ginger not that far behind him, also doing rather fast lap time. So the Ginger could get himself in that battle ahead if they hold each other up for too much. The Frank, 10th place. He's found a good amount of pace there with a 31.4. Faster than Ginger is going currently, who's still in the 32s. So Frank has found a huge amount of time, and he's going faster still. So Frank really is coming in for the attack, and he's off the road, ladies and gentlemen. That's how fast he's going. And Waitsy in 11th place at the moment, ahead of Steele, who has found Rufus up his rear derriere. Rufus closing in and ready to do battle. Can Steele hold him off? So Tidders leads now Blackstar. The next thing we need to find out is where that 3-second penalty had come from. So Blackstar only just ahead of the Max. And Tidders pulling away in that lead at the moment. Yellow flag, so there was an off somewhere. Blackstar, oh, it's poor Steele, had a bit of an off. And Blackstar went past, and he gets a 3-second penalty. That's bizarre. So poor Blackstar there. It looks like there's been an issue in the game. I think it's classed it as him overtaking Steele, even though Steele was a lap down. I can't see what else Blackstar did wrong there. 3-second penalty. And there was yellow flags because of Steele being off the road. But he was a lap down, so it's not an overtake. But yeah, Blackstar picking up a 3-second penalty. He will be feeling absolutely hard done by. How Lewis Hamilton fell in 2021. Oh my. So Tidders then, that is a slam dunk, and Max is going to get that position easily. Now is Fazzy and the Berg close enough to cause Blackstar a few issues, and the Berg would love that. He would absolutely love that, to close in and cause him a few issues as he is fighting him in the championship. He's got to be wary of him. He's coming. And Vodgorov saying, how is Rufus in the junior league? Not all juniors. They're like starters into league racing. There's only like 2 or 3 juniors in there. I think most of them are fully grown men. but they've never really done league racing, and they just wanted to try it out a little bit. I don't know a lot. That was how it was to set up at the beginning, but I don't know. There's been a few people join. I don't know if they're juniors or if they're fully grown-uns. Tidders, I couldn't tell you. He's doing a fantastic job now. He's driving with the maturity of someone who's been around a while. Max is up to second. He did get ahead of Blackstar, but Blackstar does stay ahead of Fazzy and the Berg. Krell up to sixth, with Bubblegum still chasing. I know Krell and Bubblegum and Steel are definitely juniors, but I think the others are just freshmen starters in the sim racing community. The Saint in 8th place, Ginger in 9th. Oh, and the Frank has dropped it. The Frank has dropped it with Waitsy in 11th and Rufus in 12th, getting himself past the Steel. And Rufus, he's no slouch. I've seen him in the proper leagues. And so it goes to show that even these starters have got good pace. The fresh meat in the sim racing world have got pace. As Waitsy going for a little race with Rufus there, getting up the inside of him. And Waitsy then in 11th ahead of Rufus. So I'd be scared. Rufus could beat me in a race, so I'd be scared to face some of these guys. Tidders in the lead, Max in second, Blackstar closing him down with Fazzy in 4th, Carlsberg in 5th, and Krell in 6th with Bubblegum in 7th. In all fairness, Vodkrop, this season, their speed hasn't been, they're fast. The starters or there's enough. It's consistency. I think that is the thing I've seen throughout the season is the drop-offs, the tracks, the small mistakes. That's what's the difference from these guys and the guys that are racing the higher leagues. It's just the mistakes is all. It's not so much speed. I think it's just you see the faster people make less mistakes where there is small mistakes happen more often in this league. But even now, you don't see as many falling off the track as we did at the beginning of the season. It's been amazing to see the growth, to see the journey, as they say on Strictly Come Dancing. Tidders out there in the lead with Max in second. We've got Blackstar in 3rd place. Fazzy closing in. This is getting interesting. We're at 16 minutes in the first race still. And Fazzy closing in with Blackstar just ahead, stuck up behind the Max. And Tidders disappearing. We've got a yellow flag. Is that the Steel again? No. This one's Rufus. Rufus pushing it too hard with his fight with Waitsy, and that gives Waitsy a bit of breathing room from the Rufus. So Tidders out there leads the way with Max in second, but Blackstar all over him like a rash, and he's up there. And Blackstar then gains second place away from Max there in the Druids. And Vodkrov saying, yeah, I was going to say his one-lap pace is really good. He's prone to the odd mistakes here and there. That's his only downfall. And Vodkrov saying he's faster than me at most tracks, I think. Yeah, it's just consistency, isn't it? It's just consistency. I have a big problem. I phase out. I phase out in races. I start thinking about other things. And then suddenly I'm in a corner where I think, oh, shoot, that was the braking. That was the braking marker back there. Someone at the door on Christmas Eve. Could it be the big man come early? So Tidders has picked himself up a small penalty there. Blackstar hunted him down, but I feel he might be just too far back now to make anything of it. But he's got he's got more issues on his plate with the Max and the Fazzy closing in. Carlsberg, with that pace we saw against Fazzy earlier, he seems to have dropped back a little bit. And maybe he's saving himself for the last 5 minutes to close back in for another attack. But yeah, Fazzy, it looked like it was almost like Carlsberg was definitely going to get past the Faz. But Fazmeister now has picked up that pace, and he's taking the fight to the Max, who's taking the fight to Blackstar. And nobody is taking the fight to Tidders. He's disappearing, although Black Star is still in the picture. One small mistake from Tidders, and it could be all over. Steele going around Rufus off of the track. He's letting the leaders through, I believe. And Waitsy still ahead of Rufus, chasing down the Frank, who made a small mistake, but there's quite a distance between them now, with the Saint in ninth, chasing Ginger. The Saint dropped off. He was in that battle with Bubblegum and the Krell, and Bubblegum still chasing Krell along. And Ginger, we saw, he was closing in, but he's 32.7s. Bubblegum doing earlier 32s, really. And Krell, mid to late 32s for the Krell. At this point in the race, Ginger, he's got to pick up that pace if he wants to close in on those guys ahead of him. Carlsberg, like I said, losing sight of Fazzy, who's getting ready to do battle with the Max and Black Star. And Black Star is in the hot seat at the moment because Max is all up and about his business. But they can't overtake under a yellow flag, or they get a huge penalty. And I think that's Waitsy getting out of the way for the guys. Tidders, with 5 minutes to go, has a beautiful lead. The only person who can lose this race for the Tidders right now is the Tidders. Black Star chasing him down, still believes that win is his. Max in third place with Fazzy all up and about his business. Carlsberg still dawdling because Krell, oh no, that was a lapped car, it's Waitsy behind him. Sorry, I thought Krell was there in the picture, but Krell's just crossed the line. He's got himself a nice gap from Bubblegum. They're both in the 32s, but last time around, Krell did a 32.3, which is a lot faster. Not a lot faster, but it's faster than Bubblegum's 32.7. Ginger with a 32.7 as well, matching Bubblegum, and Saint with a 32.9. The times are very tight. Frank coming through. 32.1, faster than the guys ahead of him. Unfortunately, he just keeps making, I don't know, I said he drifting by mistake, but he said in the comments once that the drifting is on purpose. He wants to prove that you can drift as fast as race. So I'm not sure with Frank if they're mistakes or if they're just him doing some drifting for the fun of it. Waitsy in 11th, and Natel, no, there's a big distance there. It's the lapped cars that are just ahead of Waitsy. And he's not that far ahead of Rufus, though. Rufus could still put a fight in here. They pulled over to let the cars lapping them through, and Steele doing a fine job. In all fairness, Brands Hatch is a tough track. So I'm impressed with the Steele at the moment, and even more impressed with that livery. Superb stuff. Makes me want to go and play Fortnite. I've only ever played it once. Tidders then leads ahead of Black Star, and Max dropping off now because he's having to defend against the Fazzy. He's not so much on the attack, and now Fazzy is tucked up behind, looking to get a podium out of this race. We've only got 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes left of this first race. And Fazzy, Max and Black Star still very close, but Black Star has broken away a little bit now on the hunt for the Tidders. And Max and Fazzy, third and fourth. Carlsberg on his own in fifth. Krell pulling away from Bubblegum in sixth. And Ginger has caught Bubblegum. So Ginger looking to get a position here, and in the championship it is much needed with Black Star and Carlsberg outscoring him, and he's only just ahead of the Saint. He's done a 31.8 last time around, and definitely is looking to address Bubblegum ahead of him and tap him up for some points. So Ginger, oh, and he's pushed the Porsche a little wide there. And now he's got to do it all again as Bubblegum just gets on their way. Doesn't let him distract him at all. Krell, superb job from Krell, remember, starting from the back of the grid, and has fought his way up and into sixth place so far. As Bubblegum under pressure from Ginger. After we saw Ginger, though, making a small mistake that last lap around. Can he get it together for this one that is possibly their final lap, I think. It could possibly be their final lap. For sure, these guys crossing the line now, they're not going to get around to start another lap again. Frank in 10th, ahead of Waits. He's off the road. Does that mean? Oh, and Rufus as well is off the road. They're waiting for the leaders to come through. Tidders, Black Star, Max. He's got himself quite ahead of Fazzy and Carlsberg closing in now. 31.4 from Carlsberg that time around. Fazzy, 31.1 from him. So they've lost a bit of time this lap, I'm sure of it. Max has pulled away from the Fazzy. Black Star's pulling away as well. Tidders coming around that final corner. He's going to have to do another lap for sure. The Tidders still crosses the line, start his final lap, and Tidders then goes across to start his final lap. Black Star and Max all get across the line. They all might get across the line, you know. Ooh, Fazzy's picked up a naughty boy penalty, and that's going to give Carlsberg an opportunity on this, what is going to be the final lap, even though I said the last one's the final lap. Krell must have made a mistake because Bubblegum's back in the action. Oh, and side-by-side action. That's not the first time Bubblegum's had that action go on before in this season. And the Krell there getting his elbows out. Takes the 6th place. Ginger takes 7th. Bubblegum gets 8th place. And the Saint there in 9th. We didn't see how it began, and I'm not going to go back because I don't like to judge aspersions. It's one for the stewards, not for us. 9th for the Saint, and Frank is going to bring it home in 10th. No, come on, where are we? Steele is... Yeah, there's no one else crossing the line before Steele. Tidders, sorry. So Tidders then leads. Black Star in 2nd. Max getting him past Steele at the moment. And Fazzy. Oh, I think there was a little miscommunication there between Steele and Fazzy. Fazzy then through. He's got a penalty though. So if Carlsberg can stay close enough to him, he might pick something up here as Tidders comes around the final corner, and Tidders takes the win. A great drive from Tidders up against a solid opponent, Black Star. And Tidders then takes the win. Black Star gets 2nd place with Max rounding out the podium. Great drive from Max. Fazzy gets himself 4th ahead of Carlsberg. He does. He paid that penalty. And Steele having a bit of fun at the end off the road. So here we go, the order then. Tidders finished in 1st place with Black Star in 2nd. Black Star will not be liking that. Max finishing in 3rd. Great drive from Max. Just stayed consistent, stayed behind, and waited for them to get themselves all actionated. Fazzy lost a few places at the early part of the race, then found his feet, but just couldn't gain those places back. And Vodgrov saying, I've just taken the new Ferrari GT3 around Nord. Sweet drive. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played much. I have been so busy. Yesterday, drove all the way up to Silverstone for the lap of lights. It was amazing. The day before that was my son's birthday. The day before that, we did something for my son that spent 13 hours on a train. It was something he really liked. It was an interesting experience. And yeah, I've just been really packed out busy so far during this holiday period. And this is the calm now. We've got the big day tomorrow. I've heard the big man is in good spirits. I've heard that Santa is happy because the nice list is outweighing the naughty list. He has got a lot of nice kids this season, and he's proper chuffed. He's saddling up the reindeers as we speak. He's getting himself ready to go. He is absolutely on high spirits. Carlsberg in 5th place. Good points for his championship, but he's lost against the Black Star there, but not as the Saint or Ginger. Krell in 6th, but I'm sure the stewards are going to be looking at what went on between himself and the Bubble Gum. Ginger getting some points where he needed them in 7th, and he's outscored the Saint, so that puts him solid in 2nd place now, unless Black Star is interfering in that situation. Bubblegum in 8th place, and the Saint in 9th, with Frank in 10th, Rufus in 11th. He's had many an adventure in this race. Waitsy in 12th, and we already heard from him, he was having pedal problems. And Steele in 13th. But well done to the Tidders there for taking the top spot. Right then, another 25-minute race on a reversed grid in Brands Hatch. Yes, please, if you don't mind, I'll take that. I've got to find it under all these replays that I'm behind. So behind. Always behind, though, eh? But it wouldn't be Thingamajig's Racing Channel if we weren't like 3 weeks behind your championship. It's so you don't remember what's happened. It's fresh. Comes at you fresh because it happened so long ago you can't remember what will go on. So let's head in, get ourselves prepped and ready. Let's see the chat. So Waitsy is leading us away in the chat then. Vodka Rob saying, if I don't see you again before Christmas, hope you have a great one, mate. Merry Xmas to you and your family. Oh, thank you very much, Vodka Rob, and the same to you, sir. I heard it's going to be a chill day. I think we've got the grandparents coming over, and it's just not my grandparents, it's my dad and her dad. It's the kids' grandparents. But, yeah, and we're just going to have a nice big meal and just get fat. So, Waitsy is leading us away. Rufus in second, with Frank starting in third. Then we've got the Saint starting in fourth. We've got Bubblegum starting in fifth. Ginger starts in sixth. Carlsberg starts in seventh. Fazzy starts in eighth. And Max starts ninth. Black Star in 10th. And Tidders in 11th. Does that mean the Krell went? Yeah, you see, I think the Krell is... was he Dutch? He's not from around the UK, and because the way the times are, I think it gets a little late for him to race in the second race. So the Krell has had to dip. And someone else seems to have gone. Oh, Steel as well. It might be a bit late for the Steel. So we've got 11 to race then, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your hats. And Vodka Rob says, I'm off to my niece's tomorrow. There's extra screaming kids this year. Oh, that's what makes it Christmas, though. It's the youth that makes it fun. Mine is 18 and 15 now, so... some of the magic has gone. They just want to go and sit in their bedrooms. And Vodka Rob saying bar humbug. Here we go then, ladies and gents. 25 minutes of racing here at Brands Hatch for round 7. They're on round 9, believe it or not. And Waitsy is leading us away towards the line. It's race on. Let's get it going. Rufus starting up the sharp at Hend. If he can stay on the grey stuff, he's in for a good position here. Closes in on Waitsy. These two have already raced each other in the first race, and Rufus already up and ahead. Waitsy breaking a little heavy for Druids as the Saint slips one up the inside of Waitsy as well. Waitsy getting a little too early on those brakes, or getting a little he's got to get his elbows out. Get on that apex. And Waitsy down to fourth then, with the Saint getting an absolute stunning start there. Frank in third, Waitsy in fourth. We've got Ginger in fifth. Oh, Waitsy's had enough. Waitsy's had enough. I saw him flying off to the side. Here we go. Where's he is? He's back on again. And the rear derriere of these Porsches can catch you out, especially in those slow corners. If you get on the accelerator a little too early, they can go. Rufus leads from the Saint. Then we got Ginger up to third. Bubblegum in fourth, with Carlsberg in fifth. Fazzy sixth. Max in seventh. Tidders up to eighth, with the Black Star in ninth. Frank slipping back there into 10th. And Waitsy, we saw his issues, in 11th. Rufus then, how long can he hold on to this lead against the Saint and Ginger? Remember, before that first race of this one, Saint and Ginger were both joint second in the championship on 163 points, and Ginger finishing one place ahead of Saint probably gives him a points difference, so they could end this race still joint somewhere in the championship. I'm not sure with Black Star and the way he's scoring. He could get himself up to second or third in the championship after this round. Carlsberg then going for a move. No, he was having a sniff and a whiff at Ginger there. Oh, Ginger's out wide. Ginger's out wide. Can he maintain? He does. He maintains. Gets himself back onto the track. And the Saint is going in hard on the Rufus there. Ginger in third, Carlsberg fourth, Tidders in fifth, Blackstar coming through ahead of Fazzy and Max. This is the same top three in sixth, seventh and eighth that we saw leading the first race. Blackstar ahead of Fazzy with Max there as well. Where's the Tidders? Where was he? Tidders is in fifth now. One to watch, remember, ladies and gentlemen. Tidders, from that first race, just tracked down the Blackstar from behind and went on the attack. Carlsberg again having a nibble at the Ginger. The Ginger under a lot of pressure at the moment. And Ginger having to deal with Carlsberg, whom now has to deal with Tidders. And maybe that will take some of the pressure off of Ginger if Carlsberg has to go defensive against the mighty race winner from the first race. Blackstar closing in as well as the Saint tries to work on Rufus, but Rufus is sending it hard and fast. So Rufus, oh, he's taking it wide. The Saints, oh no, and there's been a collision, but the Saints maintained. He's managed to keep it together. Rufus is facing the wrong way. Carlsberg's up to second, but he's got Tidders up the inside. Tidders goes for the move of the Druids, and Tidders is up to second. Carlsberg is in third, and the Blackstar still in fourth. Ginger in fifth, as Fazzy and the Max side by side, but Fazzy still ahead of the Max, and Frank there in eighth. Rufus slips down into ninth place, as Bubblegum must have lost it as well at some point, is in 10th, just ahead of the Waitsy. All changed, ladies and gentlemen, on lap 3. The Saint leads from Tidders, and Carlsberg in third, Blackstar in fourth, Ginger is in fifth with Fazzy close behind in sixth, and Max in seventh, and the Frank has closed right in as well after losing a few positions on lap 1, and Max trying to knuckle his way past the Faz, and the Faz will not be knuckled past, ladies and gentlemen. He will not allow this intimidation that Max is trying to place upon him. Ginger trying to get out of dodge at the moment with that fight coming his way. It's like a hurricane heading over the horizon right towards your little straw hut. Blackstar in fourth with chasing down Carlsberg, and Carlsberg wondering how the hell did Tidders get up the inside of him. Unbelievable driving from the Tidders there, and the Saint leads the way. And this, if the Saint can maintain, ladies and gentlemen, if he can keep it consistent and fast at the same time, which is the trick and is the tricky thing to do, he could take the win here. But Tidders and Carlsberg already closing in, as the Blackstar having a good second race. We see Blackstar seeming to get lost in the pack during the second race. He usually does very well from pole at the first race, but getting through the pack is quite tricky as Tidders goes for the lead, and the Tidders absolutely lording it here at the Brands, loving everything about the Porsche and his drive. And Saint down to second with the Berg championship leader, remember, Carlsberg in amongst it, and Blackstar there in fourth with Ginger chasing them through. Then we have Fazzy in sixth, still ahead of the Max. Frank in eighth. There he is. He's dropped back again. He was closer than that to Fazzy and Max. So I think Frank's had a bit of an issue, and that is helping the Rufus close back in on the Frank. Bubblegum as well must have had an issue on lap 2, and Waitsy as well. We saw he had an issue, but he has also informed us in the chat that his brakes were shoddy, his brake pedals. The Saint feeling the pressure now from Carlsberg. Carlsberg pulls out at Paddock Bend, goes for a move, and he makes it stick. Can he get a good drive out? No, the Saint's going into the attack for Druids, but he backs out of that one. But Carlsberg a little later on the brakes, giving the Saint a good drive through, but Carlsberg just about holding on to that second place ahead of the Saint, and the Saint looked very strong through there. And Carlsberg, he's going to have to take that better next time. And now Blackstar having a look at the Saint. The Saint, he was held up a little bit by the Berg there. He had to back out of it. in Druids, or there would have been a collision, and now the Saint is under attack from Blackstar for doing the right thing. See, this is the problem with racing. You do the right thing, but then you have to go defensive. Blackstar just not quite making it through, and now Ginger is investigating where he can maybe get a spot in amongst all of this malaise. Ahead of him, Carlsberg second, Saint third, Blackstar in fourth. And just ahead of us, Blackstar and Saint near enough together on the track. No room there, but Blackstar found a way up the inside. And now he's not down to the Saint. That was just down to Blackstar driving like an absolute legend. And Ginger trying to go around the outside of the Saint. And he was barely giving him enough room there. Ginger had to back out of that one, which then puts him into trouble from Max and Fazzy. But they're a little further back at the moment. Tidders is dashing. He's dined and dashed, ladies and gentlemen. And Carlsberg trying to chase him down. Does Carlsberg have the pace? Blackstar in third place ahead of the Saint. Ooh, and Ginger coming in quite fast there and giving him a little dent for the pleasure. And I think Ginger backs out just to give Saint the position back again. And the Throb saying, I'll just get drunk, then I won't notice. And Razorback saying, g'day thingy. Well, hello there, Razorback. How are you? The Saint at the moment in fourth place, but he's got a queue of cars behind him. Ginger, Max and Fazzy all looking to get by. Blackstar up into a podium position. Carlsberg, our championship leader, is in second, chasing down Tidders. We have Wasey in 11th, but he has brake issues. We've got Bubblegum. He had a small off, but now he's going faster than he has gone before in this race. And he's dusted himself off, and he's ready to get on with the rumbling. Rufus there in 9th, pushing that Porsche beyond its limits. And Frank there in 8th, trying to give us some drift action whenever he possibly can. He did a 32.0 his last time around, and that's faster than he's gone so far in this race, and he's going faster again. Ginger's dropped, has he? Ginger and Saint have dropped behind Max and Fazzy, I am sure of it. So let's go back. Oh no, the Saint was already there, was he? What's the schnizzle here? So here's the Saint and Ginger when they were in fourth. Oh, did we see that? No, we didn't see that one. And yeah, I think there was redressing happening, and that's helped Fazzy and Max up. Max ahead of Fazzy, so Max has got ahead. Was he ahead of Fazzy? Gosh, I'm getting confused. Ginger and Saint then having a bit of a coming together, and I think Ginger trying to redress. There he goes, redresses to the Saint, but they've both lost a couple of positions through the fighting. Blackstar in third gives him a bit more of a gap back to fourth, and now it looks like Fazzy is coming in on the attack for fourth place. Max, newly promoted to fourth place, he gets into the tow as the Saint and Ginger go side by side, and Ginger pulls ahead into Paddock Hill Bend, and Max absolutely lands it through that corner and pulls away from the Fazzy, and the Saint again coming back against the Ginger through Druids. And it's side-by-side action between the Saint and Ginger just about holding on ahead of the Saint, but the Saint always a threat, always a danger to Ginger as they go through Suthill. He's going up the inside of him now. Unbelievable stuff here from Ginger and Saint, duking it wheel to wheel racing, ladies and gentlemen. Frank there is catching them. Frank's catching them. They've lost a lot of time with their battlage. Max then in fourth, chasing down Blackstar. Blackstar hunting himself a Carlsberg. Carlsberg a 31.8 last time around. Tidder's doing a 31.8. They are matching each other, and they are not that far from each other on the track. Anything could happen here. Carlsberg looking to get a win, but the Blackstar is not far behind. Max in fourth. Then we got Fazzy in fifth. Ginger in sixth, being pursued by the Saint in seventh. Frank in eighth. Bubblegum in ninth. And Rufus in 10th. Rufus 34 last time around. Bubblegum a 35. So Rufus is slowly pulling in the Bubblegum. And Wasey in 11th, 39. But he's going faster this lap. Tidders then takes the fastest lap last time around. He is aware the Berg is closing in on him. Oh man, that wasn't far apart, only hundredths hundredths of a tenth between them both for that fastest lap. And Tidders and Carlsberg go head to head as Blackstar chases them down, unable to match their pace. Max in 4th place. He's in the 31s and leaving Fazzy behind. Fazzy lost a lot of time that last time around, and Ginger also with the Saint chasing him. And if they're not careful, Frank will close in. He's done a 31 and a 32, and he's getting very close to that battle for 6 and 7. Tidders trying to put this one to bed. He wants the double win here at Brands Hatch. We are nearly 12 minutes, so just coming up to halfway through the race. And at the moment, it looks like Tidders is doing the work that needs to be done. And he has pulled away, I think, from the Berg. The Berg did seem closer. Now the Berg looks very close to Blackstar. I think the Berg's made a mistake, you know. Oh, he's dropped back, definitely, from Tidders. And he's definitely closer to Blackstar. So Tidders then, another fastest lap. No, a 31.7 that time around. But Berg, 33.4, losing a couple of seconds in one lap, next to a 31 from Blackstar. So the Berg, yeah, lost a few seconds that last lap around, trying to chase down Tidders, and now he's under threat from the Blackstar. Max not far behind in the action as well, in 4th. Then we have Fazzy in 5th, being pursued by Ginger and the Saint. They're all very tight on times. Frank, 31.3, still closing in on the Saint and Ginger, who are in the 32s at the moment. Fazzy also low 32s, but Max is in mid 31s, as are the guys ahead of him. Blackstar 31.3, Carlsberger 33.4, but he is capable of doing early 31s, and Tidders obviously smashing out those 31s on the reg. Waitsy in 11th, just on his fastest lap of the race, but he is having issues with the brakes. Rufus in 10th, his first joining with the academy, and just coming to terms with the Group 4 Porsche. It does have a bit of a personality. It does get some getting used to. Bubblegum in 9th place with the Frank in 8th. Frank going absolutely hell for beans here as the Saint and Ginger again. Ginger's picked himself up a penalty, and the Saint can smell the blood in the water like a shark, and is honing in on the Ginger, who's going to have to pay a penalty at some point in this race. So the Saint wants to stay as close to Ginger as he possibly can this lap, and Ginger looks to be pulling away from the Saint at the moment. Ginger with a 32.6 last time around, the Saint a 32.7, barely anything in it, with Fazzy 31.6 closing in. No, a 31.7 from Max. It stays the same. And it looks like Carlsberg has etched away. Oh, Carlsberg getting the purples through the sectors, going for the fastest lap. And Carlsberg does look like he's pulled away a little bit from Blackstar this lap. Can he put some pressure on Tidders up ahead? He needs Tidders to make some mistakes, really, if he wants to get right in there. We've still got 10 minutes of racing, though, and still anything can happen at this point. Blackstar in 3rd. Max is in 4th, with Fazzy in 5th closing in. Ginger yet to pay that penalty. We've got a yellow flag. That might be Waitsy. No, it's Blackstar. Unbelievable stuff. Blackstar has absolutely dropped it. Oh, that was barely anything, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? So Blackstar's binned it into the barrier and gets himself back up and going on the track, but he's lost positions, and it looks like Ginger had to go very wide to avoid, and that's given the Saint an opportunity to get himself ahead of Ginger there, and Ginger's picked up a penalty for his troubles. Blackstar, not a penalty. Frank is going to be closing in on Ginger. That's gone terribly for Ginger there. He's paid the penalty, though, and that's given Blackstar another position. And can Frank come through as well? Frank wants a piece. And no, Ginger is back up and running and giving Blackstar a little bit of an issue. The Saint up to 5th. This is great for his championship title hopes, with Fazzy in 4th, The Berg still trying to chase down Tidders, but Tidders does the fastest lap last time around and answers Carlsberg's opportunist moment of need, and he cannot close in on the man who leads this race. Max in third, but Fazzy has something to say about that. In fourth, closing in. The Saint finding himself in fifth, but he's got a lot of fast people closing in on him, including Ginger, Blackstar and the Frank. Frank drifting, of course. So Blackstar then ahead of Frank, with Ginger just ahead of them, having his race-long battle with the Saint. Ginger and the Saint have absolutely, virtually had wheel-to-wheel racing throughout this whole race. It has been spectacular and beautiful all at the same time. Fazzy trying to close in on the Max at the moment. Max is on it, although it does look like Fazzy is getting rather close now for comfort, and Fazzy fancying a podium in this race. Carlsberg in second, with Tidders still in the lead, but I tell you what, oh no, I thought that was no, he's put a lap on Waitsy, sorry. My word, I thought that was him and the Berg, but no, I don't think he can live with him. He just cannot live with Tidders. No one can here at Brands Hatch. We have found Tidders' track, haven't we? Max under pressure from Fazzy. Fazzy's just taken the fastest lap of the race. The Saint, oh my God, what's gone off? Something happened. The Saint and Ginger, everything seems to be good. They're pulling away from Blackstar. Oh, I think the Saint, Ginger got caught out by the Saint's brake in there, and give him a little bump up the bum, and that's given Blackstar fifth place, which these two do not want to be giving Blackstar a position. They really needed to finish ahead of Blackstar, with Blackstar fourth in the championship and the Saint and Ginger joint second. So Blackstar, that's a bonus for him, wasn't it, with the Saint and Ginger falling over each other. Frank, he was closer to, look, 38.8, because he loves a nice drift, does our boy Frank. Bubblegum in ninth. Now, can he catch Frank up? If Frank drops it, Bubblegum could get a position here. Rufus in 10th, and he's got good pace. It's just lap 7 really cost him in this race, and Waitsy as well. 33.9 was close. He had to get off the track though for the lapped cars. I think he's done it again to get out of the way, and he's ended up all the way over there. Tidders leads the way from the Berg, and I think it's all but done for the Berg here. Tidders still with 6 or 7 minutes to go. Tidders is in a league of his own, with Carlsberg trying to chase him down, but it's a little late. Max and Fazzy still having their battle. Fazzy looking very menacingly at the rear derriere of the Max. Saint ahead of Ginger, and Blackstar's dropped behind. Oh, Blackstar's had an issue. He's had an issue, and the Saint and Ginger have had a reprieve, ladies and gentlemen. They've been let off the hook. And now Ginger looking to go on the attack against the Saint. These two both sharing points in the championship, and Ginger getting a point ahead, I believe, in the last race. So if the Saint finishes there, it'll be even Stevens again between the two of them, and they're outscoring Blackstar, whom is chasing them down in the championship. We could have a 3-way tie for second place after this round. Tidders then leads the way from Carlsberg. Carlsberg at 31.5 last time out, 31.6 from Tidders, and Carlsberg is not going to catch him for pace, is he really? Tidders, he needs Tidders to make a mistake or get a penalty or something. Divine intervention, anything for Carlsberg there. Although Tidders not a championship concern for him as Blackstar or the Saint and Ginger. So Carlsberg, he'd probably take these results, even if it's not a win. He's not losing points to any of his contenders. Max as well, and Fazzy in the way of his contenders, taking points away from them. So as long as Carlsberg finishes ahead of Max and Fazzy, I'm sure he should be happy. I mean, these pro sim racers, they're not happy unless they're winning. But in the bigger picture, Carlsberg, tidy result for him. Max is keeping Fazzy where he needs him to stay. Max doing a 31.2 last time out. Fazzy a 31.5. The Saint opening a gap now from himself and Ginger. Ginger and Saint have been absolutely at it throughout this race, and now the Saint getting a bit of a breather, getting a bit of breathing space from Ginger. Black Star having to regroup after having a moment, down in 7th, not where he was expecting to be. Frank in 8th, giving it big drifts. Bubblegum in 9th, he was looking to catch up with the Frank, but Frank doing a 32.6 last time out, and Bubblegum 32.3 the lap before, so he is able to put those low 32s in. And Fazzy 30.5. Has anyone else got it into the 30s? I don't think they have. How did he manage that? 30.5. Great lap from Fazzy. No one else has managed a 30. Saint 32.0. Ginger's best 31.7. But at the moment they're stuck following each other with 3 more minutes left of racing here. And if Ginger wants to get himself ahead of the Saint, he's going to have to start getting busy. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Black Star in 7th place, chasing them down. He'd love it. He'd love it if they had a coming together. Frank in 8th, Bubblegum in 9th, Rufus in 10th. We've lost Waitsy. His brakes have totally shot. And Tidders leads. 31.0 last time out for the Tidders. And Carlsberg only managing a 32.4. We've got Max still being chased by Fazzy. Fazzy still fancying that podium. Still staying close to the Max here. And Max in the mellow yellow Porsche is staying calm. Staying calm and staying on top of things. Not letting Fazzy rattle his cage one bit. The Saint as well. Slowly eking himself away from Ginger. Ginger out wide, but it's okay. He's got the Porsche back under control. And these two are racing hard here, and Ginger really has closed in now. Ginger really fancying a piece of the action with 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left on the clock. And Ginger looming large in the Saints' rear view mirror as Black Star is sitting there waiting for the action to begin. Tidders then, on his penultimate lap, we're guessing, as Carlsberg dropping even further back now for Carlsberg. If anything, Carlsberg's closer to the fight for 3rd, with Max and Fazzy going hard at it. Max not giving Fazzy a second break, not giving him any opportunity to close in and take a shot. Oh, Black Star's had a moment again. This is going terrible for Black Star. He must have got himself ahead of the Saint and Ginger, that seemed. What's going on there? Was that just... he was still behind him? Oh, Ginger was out wide. He managed to get back on the track and keep it together, but Black Star could not. And the car just spun around. Frank's coming around. That's another position if Black Star doesn't get going soon. And that's Black Star down to 8th. He might be okay from Bubblegum. And so late in the race, in the last minute, it's going to be tough for him to get that position back from the Frank. Tidders makes his way around with 40 seconds left on the clock. I'm pretty sure he's going to get across the line and start another lap. Carlsberg is closer to the battle for 3rd and 4th than he is for the lead here, as Max and Fazzy still keeping a close eye on each other, but Fazzy's just not been able to close in on the Max, just not been able to get that as close enough as he would like. And these all start their final lap now here at Brands Hatch for round 7 of the Croc Cup. The Saint comes towards the line, and I believe he's going to get across it before the flag is let out. And oh no, yeah, it is the end. The Saint then in 5th, Ginger in 6th, And Frank does finish ahead of Blackstar in 7th place, with Blackstar in 8th. Bubblegum coming around that final corner to grab 9th place. Ahead of Rufus, Tidders, Carlsberg, Max and Fazzy. Fazzy and Max still close together as Rufus brings it around the final corner and takes 10th place, just dipping his toe. Hopefully we'll see him next round. Tidders then, a double win for the Tidders if it all goes right over the next couple of corners. Carlsberg seems like a safe second, but them two are still closing in. And now Fazzy has never been this close to Max. As they come through the last few corners, what is going to happen here? Will pressure get to them? Here comes Tidders to take his second win of the round of 2 races. Great drive from Tidders. Carlsberg safe in that second, but Fazzy's going for the move. Fazzy's going for the move. Who's going to cross the line? It is Max in 3rd and Fazzy in 4th place. My word, that was close between Max and Fazzy at the end there. Crazy. The Saint comes home in 5th place. Ginger in 6th. I'm sure them two are still even Stevens when it comes to the points. But are they still second in the championship, or has Blackstar done enough to get ahead of them? Frank in 7th, ahead of Blackstar, who had an eventful race, it has to be said. And then Bubblegum in 9th. Rufus in 10th. But it's Tidders that stole the show today and got himself 2 wins, and Carlsberg may have maintained the lead of the championship with that 2nd place in race 2. Max and Fazzy, what entertainment they laid out for us for that final podium battle. And the Saint and Ginger, absolutely door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel racing throughout that whole race. It was magnificent, and Frank, always the drifting is a beautiful and humbling affair. And Blackstar, not his day today in the 1st or the 2nd race. Brands Hatch biting him. Bubblegum not having as eventful 2nd race as he did the 1st race. And Rufus has the pace, again, Brands Hatch biting him. Well, gang, thank you for joining me here at the Thingamajig's Racing Channel. It's always a pleasure, and that was a cracking little... Brands Hatch does kick up some fun races, and hopefully there'll be another stream before Christmas, or before Xmas Day. I've got another one. I've got the World Racing Community to do. So hopefully see you soon, and enjoy your festive periods. And I hope he brings you all that you want. Tiru, peace and love. Peace and love.